Loving yourself as a Black woman is a revolutionary act. It goes against everything we have been taught, we have been socially rewarded for, what we've been valued for. It goes against everything that historically we have been positioned to do. And yet, when you love yourself, you make room for other people to love you. And the quandary is when you finally love yourself enough to allow yourself to attract someone who loves you, how do you maintain you while you love somebody else? Hi, I'm Dr. Venus, your hot mess millionaire, and today we're talking about love. Love is a many splendored thing. We're talking about love. The power of love is upon it. Okay, Isaac Hayes is very real for me right now. Um, and before I go all the way in, I want to make sure to say to you, please make sure you subscribe to the Hot Mess Millionaire podcast, so you can re-listen and break it down. And I include the notes. Okay, I have notes here. Woot 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 woot. Okay, and also I'm doing. I'm building my own platform because I need the space. Um, and so I have thegirlapp.com /pre-sale. That is up. If you want to be part of that movement, go on and join on because the link is here. It's in the notes. It's in the description. Is for, and we're doing monthly, we're doing a meet and greet with my girlfriends. And this is where we get together and we talk smack, we spill the tea, we give information. I feature some of the content creators that when we go live, you already have a relationship with. And it's just a good old fashioned time. Okay. So I'm encouraging you, if you want to be part of that movement, if you want to be part of that expression and be part of that energy of Black women loving on Black women with content that was created for and by us. I encourage you to go to thegirlapp.com /pre-sale. Okay, the link is in the description. And for those of you who don't want to be part of the conversation but want to be kept up to date on the shenanigans of the Girl app, make sure you fill out the form. That link is up here as well. Okay. Last thing before I go in deep about the power of love upon us is to remember to share. Sharing is an act of love. It really is. If you're being fed, then if you're the only person around you who's being fed and everybody's starving, then you're starving too. Okay? And there's nobody else on these internet social media streets who are talking about the things I'm talking about. Okay? So my request is that you share the love. Think of some sisters that you know that you love and make sure you tag them, share it with them. Make sure, how can I say this, God? We're stronger together. Okay, we are. And I love you and I'm committed that you get fed. So I share with you. I'm encouraging you to share what feeds you with other people. Okay? And that includes for my brothers who love us, for our allies, for our family members. Look, Black women first, but we are not alone. We need each other. So please empower me by empowering my word to reach others who may not know me. Let them know I got an edge on me. They be all right. Okay, so that takes care of that. All right, so let's talk about love. Now, what I did today, I want to do something a little different. I actually wrote out 8 different topics that I want to touch base on about love. Okay, about self-love. Let me put it like that because I think self-love is different than any other kind of love. And what I'm being with is given what it takes for us to love ourselves, specifically when we're taught to hate ourselves, especially when we're taught to self-sacrifice under the auspices of love. Have you noticed that? Or is it just me? Now, it could just be me, all right? And to be fair, it may very well be me. So if it's just me, don't map this on, all right? But I have in my life, because of my background, I would say, or not, I have self-sacrificed under the auspices of love. In my mind, I thought if I loved you enough, you would love me back. Has anyone else done that? If you were good to somebody, you thought they'd be good to you, or you loved somebody you knew who wasn't whole, and you poured it into, and they still walked away from you, or they villainized you. Have you had that happen yet? Let me just talk some shit first. Have you had somebody that you loved, like you loved, right? And the moment you don't do it the way they want you to do it, you're all kinds of treacherous, right? And you're like, well hold on, where the love? Where the love at? And I know from my own lived experience because I was raised I was raised in violence, and because I was raised in that particular environment, I took whatever kind of love I could get, and I twisted myself into a pretzel to keep it. Holla at your girl if you know what I'm talking about. Don't leave me alone in this. Where you at? I don't. Come on now, y'all going? Are y'all choking on the topic of love? Y'all can deal with politics and racism and white supremacy, but y'all can't deal with love. I'm thinking this is an easy topic, but y'all being kind of quiet today. I don't know. Maybe it's my new hair. You like it? I'm here for it. I'm so here for my hair right now. And I put on some lipstick for y'all. I'm about to get all kind of glam. Y'all see, I'm about to go back to Hollywood. But my point is this. If you're anything like me, if you've gone through any kind of trauma, any kind, and I don't care what kind it is, all right, you have different survival strategies that are designed to keep you safe. And one of those that I know I have, and a number of my private clients have had, and a bunch of my people in the tribe have had, is self-sacrifice or acquiescence or overgiving. Look at your own life. Tell the truth, shame the devil. You ain't got to tell it to me, but at least say it to yourself. You know whether or not in your love of somebody else, you gave too much. You gave too much of you, and it cost you. And then you got resentful because they didn't ask you to give it. And you got mad because they didn't appreciate it, but they never asked. But because you thought it, because you gave the love, they were going to love you in return. And they did not. They exhausted you. They used you. They took away the resource and left you holding the baby. Because as Black women, we are taught that our boundaries don't count, that our bodies are not our own, that our voice is not important. So we self, at least I did, I self-silenced because I couldn't stand the idea of being alone. I couldn't stand the idea of being somebody that nobody wanted. My mama didn't want me, then why? If someone acts like they want me just a little bit, I'm gonna do everything I possibly can to keep them. And I did. And it cost me my self-respect. It cost me my self-pride. It cost me my independence. And it cost me my voice. Now, if I got some truth tellers on the line with me, holla at your girl to let me know I'm not the only one. We don't talk about love. Look, I'm not just, how can God help me say this nice? Please help me say it nice. We use love as a weapon. When you're wounded, you use love as a weapon. You use love to prove to people that they're on your side or to prove that they are not. If they do this, and this, that means they love you. If they do that means they don't. That's not love, y'all. That's control. That's domination. That's not love. Love wouldn't do that. See, when you love somebody or you love something, there's a level of space around it that you have to have in order for it to grow. And as Black women, we either push it away or we suffocate it. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. If I'm willing to be wrong, I'm willing. But if you look in your real life, if you look at yourself in relationship, whether you're in one currently or you were in a previous one, look to see what had you leave. Look to see your behaviors. Look to see how you accommodated until you weren't there no more. You were just her girl or his girl or whatever. You see what I mean? And what I'm trying to articulate to you is this. Self-love is a radical act. It is telling history to kiss your Black ass because history has whispered in your ear and my ear that we do not matter, that our wishes don't matter, that our boundaries don't matter, that our no doesn't matter. So when love comes, when you heal enough, God have mercy, to let love in, okay, then the question becomes, how do you keep taking care of yourself while you love somebody who loves you? How do you do that? How do you not take all the hurt from the past, all the survival strategies that you've been working on for decades. At least I've been decades on this, okay? And then you're with somebody who's amazing, but you don't know how to hold your own boundary because your survival has taught you that if you want to keep a good thing, you accommodate. You give that other person everything that they need. You anticipate the need. You do everything you possibly can to keep the love, because what if you don't get another chance? What if you don't get another love? What if that love changes its mind? What if that love decides to leave? Well, you can't have that. Oh my God. No. So you have to figure out, well, like, how can I make you dependent upon me? How can I make you want me enough to keep me in all of my woundedness? Is this making sense? Holla at your girl. Let me hear you. No, you're doing good. I see you now. Come on. Okay. So that's what we're dealing with today. It's like, well, hell, you do all this work on yourself. You do the therapy, you do the self-help, you do the personal growth, you do the tapes, you do the videos, you do the seminars, you do the meditations, you do the prayers, you do all the things. And then you fall in love, and all the work you've been putting in you damn near just comes to a screeching halt. And you put all of your attention and focus on the relationship, not on you. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And I mean in the very basic ways. You stop exercising. You stop eating right. You stop sleeping. You stop hanging out with your friends. You stop doing your me walks. You stop doing your yoga. You stop spending time with other people. You stop getting your hair done. You stop doing things that please you. You just stop tending to you. How about that? You become so unimportant when somebody else gives you their attention. If we tell the truth. If you're really a truth teller, holla at your girl and let me know I'm not the only one who does this. I gotta have some truth in the house. Otherwise, what's the point of having the conversation? If you can't be honest about how you disappear you when somebody else loves you, then how will you ever know when you're gone? How will you ever know when you stop being independent and become codependent? How would you know that? You have to be willing to tell the truth about your behaviors if you want to stay well. If you want to fake it, have at it. But if you want to stay well, you got to tell the truth, y'all. Really, real talk. I refuse. I'm going to tell y'all, and this is for me, it's honey. I don't know how y'all do, but I refuse to go backward. I'm a dry alcoholic. I refuse to drink. I've come from the streets. I refuse to go back out there. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to undermine what has taken me over 30 years to get well just because I love somebody and someone loves me. So it's a real word because what's predictable, if you're anything like me, and you may not be, and that's cool. That's cool. But if you're anything like me, you have weak boundaries. Weak boundaries. When I was growing up, I had no boundaries. And the people where I come from, you can't have boundaries because you need people in order to survive. So you have to compromise a lot in terms of your sense of self. So it's taken me and my therapists a while to get me to really focus on me and focus on my personal boundaries and noticing when I move them or change them. And I'm not invalidating myself, not that at all. But sometimes when you're growing in a relationship, you do change your boundaries, but that doesn't mean it's a law. The thing is, there's a difference between changing your boundaries because you trust somebody and changing your boundaries because you feel like you're going to lose somebody or you want to keep somebody. That's not the same. Okay? So I want to have a particular conversation with you about you. How to handle you, how to have your self-love stay forefront when you're being in love. You see what I'm saying? So I have some amazing resources and I have 8 different teaching points. And I'm gonna put my glasses on. And I'm so enamored with my look right now. Y'all can't tell me anything about myself. I'm too sexy for this show, too sexy for this broadcast. Okay, I'm so enamored with my hair and my look. I could talk about it, but let me get to the points. This is what I want to share with you today. Okay. So here are the 8 points I want to cover, and they're in the notes. Okay, but I'm going to extrapolate on them right now. The first point I want to cover is raise your standards. What you need now is not what you used to need. You want to notice that in your relationships, at least I'm noticing in all of mine, specifically my romantic ones, is that I used to really be organized around physical appearance. I used to be organized around bravado. Now I'm organized around communication. I'm organized around honesty and transparency. So part of what I'm asking you to do is look to see that you need to upgrade your standards in terms of your relationship, even if whether you're in the new one or in a current one. Is it feeding who you are today? Or is it something based in the past? I'm going to encourage you to upgrade your standards. I used to just accept people who liked me. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, I like me. I don't need you to like me. Okay, that's the crust of bread of, oh my God, they liked me. They returned my call. Those days are over. Now I require respect. I require attentiveness. I require care. I require protection. I require provision. It's a requirement now. It's not an option. I am 50 years old. I'll be damned if I'm not doing what I did when I was 16. So you have to upgrade your own standards, even if you're in a relationship. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is, can I please see this, Lord? Thank you. Is make and keep your personal boundaries and act as an act of empowering the relationship. So one of the things that happens or has happened with me is that I would give up my personal boundaries, right? So for example, I have everybody, if y'all don't know, I have Happy. Happy's my baby. He's 13 pounds of pure love. He's a Bichon Frise. He's a service animal. And Happy takes care of me. Okay. And so I needed to take Happy to daycare. Okay. And my gentleman caller, Mr. Lover Lover, and I was spending time. And I still got up because, and he empowered this. He's like, no, don't mess up your routine because I'm around. And so I got up, got dressed, took Happy to daycare, did my Pilates, did my therapy call, doing my thing, because I have to keep my boundaries with me in order to not villainize my relationship. Does that make sense? I have to keep my routines to serve the relationship, not sacrifice them for the relationship. Does it make sense, everybody? Okay. And that is an important point. You're not holding, if when you surrender your boundary, you're putting a lot of pressure on your partner. You see what I'm saying? Because now it's like you did it for them, and then there's a level of guilt that could be played back and forth. So please keep that in mind. 3, know what your wound, oh, this is good. Know what your wound is and not take on your love's wounds. It will only handicap your love and exhaust you. So I'm clear I have PTSD, anxiety disorder. I'm on a spectrum of autism. I have social anxiety, and I'm legally handicapped. And I mean that in that order. All right. So I know coming in that I'm going to get triggered in any relationship. Do you understand? You can't walk through the stuff I walk through and not bear the scars. It's unrealistic. All right. So if I know I have triggers, which I do, and I don't always know when they're going to strike, I have to take care of myself. And that may mean being quiet. That may mean taking a walk. That may mean going outside. That may mean leaving the state. That may mean taking a bath, getting a massage. But I know I have my wounds and I'm accountable for them. I'm not accountable for my love's wounds. And I need to know the difference between mine and whomever I'm loving. Does that make sense? Because it's easy to take on other people's wounds as your own, but they're not yours, even if they say they are. If you know, for example, I know that when I get triggered, right, from my experience, I know that my high functioning skills fail me, meaning I can't talk. I lose my voice. It's something that when I was a younger person, bad things happen and my voice got gone. So when I get triggered, my voice leaves first. I can't say nothing. So I get quiet. Now, for some people I've been involved with, they think that I'm shutting down. No, I am trying to survive the moment. Okay? And if I know that, then what I have to do is just survive the moment until I can talk. Does that make sense? But that's not the same as someone saying, well, you are withholding. No, I am surviving the fucking moment. I am trying to keep my shit together. That's what the fuck I'm doing. That's what I'm doing when I'm not talking, because when I'm triggered, I don't have my capacity to form sentences fails me. That is how my PTSD works out. That's how it shows up. It shows up in chest contractions and voice and breathing and dizziness and nausea and all kinds of physical things. But that's not the same as somebody else's reaction to my reaction. Does that make sense? So I can't take on other people's wounds. They're accountable for their own wounds. I'm accountable for mine. And now my first accountability for, hear me when I tell you this, my first accountability is this. If you are triggered, take care of yourself first. Don't take care of your lover. That's the self-love is you tending to you. You have to tend to you. You can't put that on somebody else. First and foremost, I don't think people really can take care of another person whose wounds they haven't experienced. It's amazing to me when people, because I'm so high functioning autistic, people don't know I'm autistic. But until I start spelling or or I get overstimulation when a lot of things happen or my language fails. But my point is that when you know that you have special needs, and the thing is, it doesn't have to be your special needs could be you need space. You could be an introvert. You may have a special need called I'm not going to stay in this group. Don't get mad at me if I walk out, I walk away. If you walk away, that's you taking care of you. That's not you leaving them. Please remember that. So don't take, you have to know yourself in order to be well. And if you know yourself and you're with somebody who really appreciates and honors your process, then they'll make the adjustment. Does it make sense? Everybody I've ever loved I've had to make adjustments to because everybody has wounds. Everybody. I don't know anybody who doesn't. But the love should be sufficient to cover a multitude of sins. You see what I'm saying? So if as an act of love, you and I both know that you accommodate, you adjust. That's better than adjustment. You make adjustments for people who you know have certain needs. If you know a person has a need, if you know a person is an introvert, don't get mad at them for not hanging out at the party. That's not going to work for them. It's going to drive them crazy. Okay? But you don't get to take on their opinion about your process. You are accountable for you. And you have to put you first, because by so doing, if you do take on their wounds, you are now becoming codependent. You're now acting as if you could have changed how they took your actions. That's their interpretation. That's not yours. They have to handle their own wounds. You're not accountable for their wounds like they're not accountable for yours. And I'm a big proponent of therapy. I'm a big proponent of self-help, personal development. And you need to be with a partner who's willing to do that work for real, for real. Because if two wounded people get together, we're talking about a mess. A mess. It is a bloody mess when two wounded people who are not willing to heal or not doing the work to heal get together. It's just going to be painful for everybody. It's going to make it worse. Okay? So that's, I want to get that one in. Clearly I had a lot to say about that one. Okay, let's get to number 4. Number 4 is love someone who insists you keep your routines so you are in your power. This is important. Like I have, my whole life is set up in routines. I have a routine for everything. And without those routines, I lose certainty, I lose balance, and I'm not very functional, okay? I have to have things be done in a certain way, a certain time, in a certain order so I can have certainty. Okay, so you want to be with somebody who will respect that and honor that, that will empower that, and say, no, don't mess up your routine. Don't mess up your routine for me. Do your routine. If you have someone who empowers your routine, that is empowering the relationship, and that means that y'all can grow something beautiful, and this makes a difference. If someone's like willing for you to compromise your routine for their feelings, then that's not going to work over time because you're going to end up getting off balance, especially if you need the support, okay? The support of consistency. Okay, 5, love is different from workability. Girl, let me break this one down. Focus on the workability of relationship. So I don't know about you, but I tend to be willing to love somebody, okay? Now, your feelings, think of it this way. You are the sky. You are big, you are expansive, you are just amazing, all right? And then there's the clouds. The clouds are your feelings. Now notice that the clouds can change shape. They can move around. They can disappear. They can become really dark and gloomy and gloomy. The storm clouds, they can become threatening clouds. But the thing is, the sky never changes. The clouds do. So your feelings are like clouds. You cannot depend on your feelings for a working relationship, meaning that you and the person you love and who loves you, that y'all can communicate, that y'all can forgive, that y'all can grow together, that you have similar values, that like I value integrity. I can't be with somebody who lies. Not going to happen. I'm a truth teller to my core. So it would suck for me to be involved with somebody who doesn't tell the truth. That would be bad. So it doesn't matter whether I love you, but if you're a liar and I'm a truth teller, our relationship will never work. We will always be in conflict. Does it make sense? So love is great, but don't forget the workability. If you do not have your attention on the workability, you'll love somebody, literally be head over heels in love with somebody you can't stand. Someone you cannot build with, someone you cannot talk to, someone that you are just, your values are completely skewed. Because workability is just as important as your feelings. Your feelings will change. There'll be times when you love that person. Sometimes you don't like them that much. But that doesn't have anything to do with the workability. The workability is that you two have negotiated and worked out what works and what doesn't. What are the boundaries? What are the goals? What are the milestones? What do you need from me? What I need from you? Can I give you this? Can I give you that? How do we negotiate? How do we cut this down? How do we make this work? That is a whole nother section of relationship. And in my opinion, it's more valuable than the love. Because the love will change based on the feelings, the times, blah, blah, blah. The feelings will change. But workability, can I count on you to pick up the kids after school? You know what I'm saying? Look, do you pay your bills on time? Do you have my back when I need you? Will you encourage me when I feel scared? Like that's workability. And you have to put your attention on that, sis. If you do not put your attention on that and you get sprung, then you'll be all up in your feelings and feel like crap because nothing will work. You can't have a thriving relationship without workability. And workability takes work. That means you have to work it out. Now, some relationships don't make it through the workability stage, and that's fine. Because if you don't take on that stage early on in your relationship, then you'll be married to somebody that you can't work with. You see what I'm saying? And the point of it is, if you don't take on workability as much as you take on your feelings, you're setting yourself up to lose. Okay? So that's that one. We have three more. Let me get to this. Now we're on number 8. Let's see here. Taking care of you does not mean you are neglecting your love. Don't feel guilty. It's easy when you love somebody to feel like you should be there for them all the time or tend to their needs no matter how you feel. And that's not love. Don't do that. Please don't. Please don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's like this. Taking care of you means that's your act of love. It's like I have to take care of me. It's an act of love for the people who love me that I take care of me. They don't have to worry about me. If I'm taking care of me, then you should thank me for taking care of me instead of acting out my wounds on you. Does it make sense? Like have y'all ever been involved with somebody who has, who acts out their ugly on you and then acts like nothing happened? Then you know what I'm saying? Like they're doing their thing and they're going through their thing and you're over there bleeding. And then once things get peaceful, like, oh well, it's no big deal. Oh yes, it is. I'm on the floor bleeding. Okay? That's not love. That's not love. That's not unconditional love either. Unconditional love doesn't equal I stand there and let you hurt me because you're going through your own woundedness. That's not unconditional love at all. No. And I want you to hear this, sis. Love does not mean you tolerate people's bad behavior. That doesn't mean that. That's not love. And as Black women, because we've had to tolerate so much, we think it is. We think, okay, I hung in there with them. I hung in there with her. That means I love her. No, it doesn't. You cannot hang in there with somebody who's not willing to be well. You can't. You can't. If they're not doing what they need to do to handle that bad behavior, you are setting yourself up to be totally disregarded. And you will be mad and feel like it's all your fault. They'll say stuff that have you feel guilty. And if you feel guilty, that's because you let yourself feel guilty instead of knowing that you're just as valuable as your partner. You're just as valuable as your partner. Your needs are just as important as your partner. Your, your point of view, your voice, your wants, your desires, your sex drive is just as valuable as the person you love. So you can't let their opinion or their wounds, because people have wounds, speak as if they relate to you like you did something wrong by taking care of you. No, taking care of you does not mean ignorant, doesn't mean you're doing something bad to them, no matter how they take it. And you have to remember that. They won't in the midst of upsets. Okay? They will never, they're like, oh, you didn't talk to me. Baby, I'm over here trying to breathe. I can't talk to you when I'm trying to breathe. You know, like, I can't tend to you while I'm taking care of me. I have to put the oxygen mask on me first. Then I can tend to you. But I can't do it at the same time. And if I put the oxygen mask on you before me, I could die. So let me put the oxygen mask on myself, get me some puffs. Now I have some air that I can blow into your face. You see what I'm saying? So you have to relate to it that way. Otherwise, you'll self-sacrifice and then you'll feel like you didn't get taken care of. Okay? 7, heal or leave with love. Okay? Everyone has wounds. If you or your love don't put in the work to heal, leave the relationship with dignity, honor, and respect. Look, either people heal or you, this is what I believe firmly. You can't make somebody else do the real work to heal. And everybody has wounds, as far as I'm concerned. If you're black, fuck it, you got a wound, all right? And if their behavior is persistent, so I want you to hear this. It has to be persistent behavior. It's not like a one not. Like if you know someone who has, if you love somebody who has a persistent behavior that really undermines the relationship, and no matter what you have done repeatedly, that behavior doesn't change, and it causes havoc in the relationship, and it impacts your peace, and it impacts that person that you love's peace. So it has impact on both sides. In terms of that bad behavior, then leave. Leave the relationship, but leave it with dignity and love, not in anger. Don't ever leave in anger. You don't want to have a regret. You can't have, don't do that. I'm gonna tell you this, and this is hard to hear, sis, and it's always hard to hear because no one ever wants to hear this, okay? Sometimes you can love somebody, but their wounds and your wounds are like oil and water. And we don't always account for the wounds. We think love conquers all, except it doesn't. Because when a person is wounded, they're no longer themselves. They are thrown to a past that you can't fight, that you have no control over. Then that's a hard one to accept. Because theoretically, love should be able to heal whatever. But the healing only happens if the person who's wounded is willing to heal it. If they're not willing to do the real work or don't take the time to do it, then you're going to always be the bad guy. You're going to always be, how can I say this, God? You're going to be in reaction to their reactions. You know what I mean? Like if like one of the things that happens with me when I get triggered is I lose language. I don't talk. It's not because I'm being obtuse. It's literally I can't get my mouth to say any shit. I can't do nothing with it, right? And it's not. It's like if I was handicapped, if y'all could see, if I had a wheelchair, people could see my disability. You see what I'm saying? But you can't because PTSD. You can't see it, so it looks like I'm just functioning. But I've been trained to function. I've been trained to get things done. It's a street thing. I know how to get shit done no matter how I feel. But the point of it is, if my silence makes you feel abandoned, I'm fucked. Do you understand? Because I can't get my language to work until my threat is lowered. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm involved with somebody who needs someone to talk to them when they're upset, can you see how I'm screwed? I'm fucked 6 ways to Sunday. There's no way that's going to work because I don't have language when I'm in a reaction. I have to lower the threat in order to get back to balance, in order to get my language back, in order for me to articulate. That literally takes a minute, okay? And if someone needs reassurance in the moment, I can't do shit with it. All I can do is just say nothing and get shit done. Now, once I'm no longer threatened, I'm great. But my point is, that's two wounds that don't talk. They can't talk. That means we're not a match. We're not equally yoked. Does it make sense? And that has nothing to do with the love. I cannot tell you how many people I have loved in my lifetime who were just not equally yoked. And that's not a bad thing. It's not. And I thank God for all the love I've ever had in my life. And it's all been glorious. But I know how to say no, thank you. I'm not what you need. My my PTSD does not go with your wounds. And that is what's so. You see, but you don't have to leave ugly because it's not a punishment. No one did anything wrong. It's just like, no, that's not a match. There's no way I can't survive that. I can't recover from that. And you have to love the person enough to be honest about what you can't do. Don't keep trying to work on some shit that you've been working on for 30 years and it hasn't changed. That probably means it's part of who you are, you know? So please love your love enough to not pretend that you can do something different than what you've done. Okay? And don't be mad with your love if they can't change either. That's not mean. That's just human. Literally, we do have wounds. We have practices and strategies that have worked for us in other arenas, but may not work in a romantic relationship. You see what I'm saying? And so, if that's the case, then you have to love the other person enough to say, I can't do that. And thank you for loving me. It's been beautiful. I've gotten a lot of lessons, and I wish you well. Goodbye. That is an act of love. That is an act of love to not string someone on when you know you can't change. Okay, to be what they need. Okay, and the eighth point is fall in love with yourself daily. There's this book called Black Girl in Love with Herself, and it's by Trey. I just ordered it. It's by Trey Anthony. Of course, I can't find anything right. Where's Trey? Um, Trey. I think it's Trey Anthony. It's a beautiful. It's a woman that I really just love and adore. Anyway, it's all about falling in love with yourself daily, and I believe this. And then I'm gonna wrap it up. I strongly believe that the more you love yourself, the more you make room for others to love you the way you love yourself. You have to love yourself to create a energetic attraction for people who can love you the same way that you love you. If you hate you, you're going to attract people who hate you. If you tolerate you, you're going to have people who tolerate you. The person that you attract to love you is an energetic match of how much you love you, how much you accept you, how much you approve of you. So the more you love yourself, the better your relationship is because you are accountable for your happiness. You're not making the other person accountable. And that way, it's not two halves becoming one, it's two ones enjoying each other's oneness. You see what I mean? But that book, I'm reading it because I wanna hear it. I wanna fall in love with myself daily and forgive myself daily and embrace my flaws daily. And I wanna love the love that I'm committed to having is the love that God wants for me, you know? And I believe that. And I won't and I'm never going to I'm not giving up until I get it, you know? So so that's where we are in terms of love. So I wanted to do this a little different I wanted to get some teaching points in. My prayers that you found this useful. Sis, please know that you're loved, that you really are God wrapped in flesh. You are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the head and not the tail. You are a lender, not a borrower. You are the righteousness of God, and you are perfect, wounds and all. You deserve to be loved with a passion and an honor that is worthy of being the daughter of the Most High. That's your birth, that's your destiny. Okay, my prayer for you is that you love yourself so much that all the people who are not worthy of your love fall away. They fall like shackles. They just fall away. So that the people who do love you, who are worthy of your love, reveal themselves and they come to you. You don't have to seek them. And that the people who really are committed to being with you, that they do the real work so that they are an asset to your life, not a liability. Okay? So that's all I got for now. This is Dr. Venus, your hot mess millionaire. If you were fed by this word, this like giving word, this like affirming word, please pay it forward. And for my brothers and sisters, my brothers who love us, my allies and my fam, thank you so much for tuning in. for sharing this word, for empowering my word in the world. And for my sisters in success, know that you are loved beyond all measure. And please remember this: you're worth so much more than you have ever been taught to believe. I'm Dr. Venus, your hot Miss Millionaire. Goodbye for now.